Good evening. It's 5:15 on Thursday. It's the 5th. Oh, it is the 5th. It's almost Friday, that's all I care. My topic tonight, I've been thinking about this topic since Halloween. It's kind of been in the back of my mind. I want to talk about teen witches and teen pagans and their parents. Now, the reason why this has been on my mind because I've been doing research because we found our Pagan Living meeting last night. And we talked about different things that pagans in America have to put up with, such as harassment. Some parents have lost their children, so there are some serious things that pagans in America have to deal with. Now, the one that's mostly the one I can relate to, I don't have children, so I'm not related to that at all. I've never been harassed and I've had to deal with crap from other people, but not at a huge level. The topic that I'm closest with is the topic of teenagers involved in witchcraft and paganism, whether it's just study out of curiosity or it's just serious practice. Now, I'm 22. I really started reading and being more open about my interests when I was like 14, 15, and on, of course. I was lucky enough because I didn't have religious parents. My parents were pretty open, agnostic. They do what you want, just don't hurt anybody or yourself, kind of people. And they still are. So when I asked to go to the library to get books out, or when I asked to go to the bookstore to buy books, I never got like those condescending questions like, well, what are you reading that crap for? Do you even know what that is? It's not self-proclaiming. Obviously I knew that. Apparently I was a responsible kid. So when my mom would get the books, or we'd rent the books from the library, I'd read them, or my father would never question. They would be like, oh, what is that about? Or anything interesting. Like my father knew a Wiccan family that he worked with. He worked with the dad. And my mom just knew lots of open-minded, earthy, crunchy people. So there was nothing that they had to, be suspicious about. Because they were never in the position where, oh no, that person's worshiping the devil. I think this might be what my kid's into. Because, no, nothing like that. And I think that's what parents today have to realize. Their children aren't actually doing anything wrong. If they're anything like me or some of my friends when we were first studying and renting books and asking questions and wearing our first tentacles or our first, this guy, with all the symbols on it, Chikecha, and different Celtic things. And then I've got my Celtic knot on this ring thing. So, when you see these symbols, like that symbol, and I have a tattoo on my back, but when you see the symbols, you wonder what that person is, or what they do, like the pentacle. They must be a witch. And the uninformed person, whether they're Christian or not, will automatically think the ridiculous stereotypes that are attached with those symbols. Like devil worship. Like human sacrifice, or blood drinking, or dark things. No. So in the case of teenagers practicing or reading or studying, to the parents, or to the older relatives or older siblings, whether you're Christian or not, I'm going to tell you this right now, your child isn't doing anything wrong. If it's the case of older children, like my age, because I'm sure there are kids my age whose parents are still heavily or too heavily involved in their own lives. Like, I have a friend who is pagan, like I am, who wears, I won't give anything away, but she has to hide her stuff. She has to pretend like she's not. And she's been doing this for a long time. And she's 21 years old. People, come on now. So in the case of teenagers practicing witchcraft, it's mostly Wicca. I think Wicca is the first thing people really get, open up to is Wicca. It's the first thing that we know because it's such a widely practiced pagan religion. I think 50% of all modern pagans are Wiccans. So there's so much information, whereas Asatru, Celtic Reconstructionism, other things like that, there aren't as many, so you're not going to get the information as easily, unless you know where to look. At least in my experience. So, to parents and to family members of kids or teenagers or young adults like me who are Wiccan or practice witchcraft or other forms of paganism, like I said, whether you're Christian or not, because I'm sure there are some Christian parents who just are so uninformed that they're getting their panties in a twist over nothing. You guys need to relax, because if your child is serious about this, he or she is not just into it. People still ask me if I'm just into it. Are you just into that stuff? That's really cool. Are you into it? No, I'm not into it. It is me. It's my lifestyle. And granted, a lot of teenagers, young teenagers who get involved with it are in it for the glamour. You know, the jewelry or the movies like The Craft or other movies like that, The Covenant, that might make it more attractive. But that's just Hollywood glitz and glamour. They're using the magic and the power and they're amping it up to make money. It's just a story, it's a fantasy, it doesn't exist. So if you're into witchcraft and Wicca and magic and paganism for the right reasons, you're not into it. Your children are not into it. It is something that they want to keep as a lifestyle. It is their beliefs. So I don't really suggest, I suggest, of course, getting involved with your child, but there's no need to throw books away or deny them the books or deny them the access to the websites or say you can't wear that necklace or I don't want you wearing that necklace or reading those books or it's fake religion. I've heard that too. I've heard fake religion. It's not. Trust me. So, parents, let your children read books. Monitor them. Don't let them do anything stupid like cast spells against people, because let me tell you, I hardly do spells. It's not a necessary thing. So if they're doing spells or if they do things that are obviously suspicious and not just religious in nature, I say do something about that. But reading books, asking questions, believing different things, oh no, leave it alone. Let them explore. Let them grow. Because most of the time what's going to happen with your 13, 14, 15, or whatever-year-old teenager who's into it for the glitz and glamour and the fake Harry Potter crap, sorry if you like Harry Potter, but I'll get to that in a minute, they're going to grow out of it. Alright? That's just a phase for some teenagers. But the ones who are seriously involved in it, let them be involved. Now, what I want us to do, because I know that the Christians are in a huge tizzy over Harry Potter, or have been, the series is over, but I guess it's called the Pagan Federation in England. They are a group of people, obviously, I'm not over there, so I don't know exactly what they do, but they get tons and tons and tons of letters from kids and teenagers about witchcraft whenever they read a Harry Potter book or see a Harry Potter movie. I think it's mostly Harry Potter, but and probably it's with Charmed, the TV show too, which the bane of my existence. I'm sure it has to do with that TV show too, but they send in questions like, you want to know spells, you want to do magic, what do you want to know? That's not the right questions to ask. You're going on what the movies and books are doing. It's a fantasy, it's a fairy tale. I write fantasy. That doesn't mean I think it's going to be real. It doesn't mean I think I can shoot fireballs out of my hands. I'm not an X-Man, even though I read the comics or watch the movies. It's just a movie, it's a story. Harry Potter and Charmed, Buffy, and X-Men even over here. And reality and real beliefs and real religion and real practices and traditions over here, they will never be the same thing. So children are going to be children, especially if they're under the age of like 12, when they think these things might be real. They're not. And Christians, you don't have to worry about this, because a 9 or 10-year-old emailing or writing letters to the Pagan Federation saying, I want to do spells, I want to know magic. Let me tell you something. They're not being corrupted or recruited by the Harry Potter books. You know why? Because Harry Potter books were written by a regular person, not the devil, okay? And not some satanic witch. They are fun books that are supposed to be fun and entertaining. So these 9, 10, 12-year-old children who are writing letters to the Pagan Federation, the Pagan Federation is not going to send them spell books and charms and different things like this. They're going to say, sorry, but that's not what you do. Okay?